You know, for these last few weeks, we've been so focused on the college football playoff, but don't worry. We have not forgotten about the NFL playoffs. The playoffs that begin this Saturday as 14 teams begin their quest for a Super Bowl to hoist Lombardi Trophy, which we have right behind us. So today, guys, we are here to break down the opening round, the Wildcard round, all 6 games, giving you our predictions for those who will advance the divisional round, who will keep those Super Bowl hopes alive, and whose seasons will come, unfortunately, to an early end. So again, guys, welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're so glad you could join us today for some rare NFL content here on the channel. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, and our holiday special. That holiday special will give you the last national championship pick for college football. It'll give you our spread pick there, but it'll give you the spread picks for every single NFL playoff game all the way through the Super Bowl. And we always do very, very well in our postseason picks. So if you want to win big with us, we've got a lot of packages over there, a lot of exclusive content over there on thegridironexpert.com. Go check it out and become a member of our GE Nation today. So let's jump into this thing. We'll go in order. We're just going to go in order of how the games are being played, and we start in Houston. It seems like a staple. If the Texans make the playoffs, they are typically going to be the first team to kick off the NFL playoffs, typically the early Saturday games. It's been that way for years and years and years. So the early Saturday game is the Chargers taking on the Houston Texans, the champions of the AFC South. And we're going to give a lot of credit here to Jim Harbaugh. Wins a national championship at Michigan, goes out to Los Angeles to take over the Chargers, and done a phenomenal job. Got him in the playoff, had him in 11-6, the 5th seed in the AFC. And if you're looking for a dark horse pick, a team in the AFC that can maybe make some noise, it's not the Chiefs or the Bills or the Ravens, guys like that, it would be the Chargers. If I had to pick one team that's not one of the big favorites in the AFC to maybe make a run to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl, it would be the Chargers led by Jim Harbaugh. And a major reason for that is their defense, surprisingly. They've got a great quarterback in Justin Herbert, and they've got a great wide receiver in Ladd McConkey, who has over 1,100 reception yards on the year. But this defense ranks 11th in the NFL, 11th in the league, allowing just 324 yards per game. They're 8th in the league in stopping the pass, giving up just 221 passing yards per game. And that could bode well for the Chargers and not so well for C.J. Stroud, who's kind of in the middle of a sophomore slump. Not a bad year by any means. Still threw for over 3,700 yards and 20 touchdowns, but did throw 12 interceptions, only averaging 232 passing yards per game. So this Texans offense, and I know they've battled injuries and things like that, but has not been as potent or as electric as they were last year when they made the divisional round before falling to the Ravens. Yes, they've got a good defense as well. The Texans have one of the better defenses in the league statistically, but look at who they've played. They haven't played anybody. Much weaker division than that of the Chargers. Half of the Texans' wins, they went 10-7. Half of their wins came against the Titans, the Jaguars, and the Colts. Not too much to brag about there, considering that's 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. At the end of the day, this is going to be a relatively close game, but the Chargers have the edge at the head coaching spot. They've got the edge at the quarterback position with a more experienced quarterback in Justin Herbert. They've got a great wide receiver, as we mentioned, in McConkey. They've got the defense to put it all together. I like the Chargers to go into Houston, get this win, their first playoff win since 2018. Sticking in the AFC, they got the 6th seed, the Steelers, taking on the 3 seed, the Ravens. A great rivalry, one of the best rivalries in the NFL. Mike Tomlin versus John Harbaugh. Wouldn't it be awesome to see Jim and John face off in a playoff game later on? That would be epic. But to me, this game's a no-brainer, right? I love the history here. I love the rivalry game. I love that it's a divisional matchup. But this is Baltimore all the way. All the way. And for so many different reasons. The first one you could point to is Lamar Jackson. Sure, the guy who many believe will be the MVP again this season. Maybe he has a very good case for it. Over 4,100 passing yards and 41 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. Has also rushed for 915 yards. Over 5,000 total yards for Lamar Jackson. Over 45 touchdowns on the year. This guy's playing absolutely insane. Seems more locked in than ever to finally get the Ravens over the hump and get him into his first Super Bowl. So he's the X factor, right? I mean, he's one of the best players in the league, and the Steelers haven't really shown the ability to stop him, at least not in their last meeting where they lost 34-17. You got Derrick Henry there as well for the Ravens, who's a multiple 1,000-yard rushing seasons, like another one here now in Baltimore. But the bigger reason I'm looking at here, when you get to the playoffs, when you get to the end of the year, you're looking for teams that are high. You're looking for teams that are clicking. The Ravens are. They've won 4 straight games to end the year. That includes that 34-17 win over the Steelers just 3 weeks ago. The Steelers have lost 4 straight games. They have lost 4 straight games and have failed to score more than 17 points in every single one of them. The Steelers simply do not have the offense to hang with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They just don't have it. They rank 23rd in the league. There's 32 teams. So they're in the bottom half of the league in total offense. Yes, they have the 10th best defense in the nation or in the league. That's great, but they're going up against, as we mentioned, the number 1 offense in Baltimore. So across the board, home field advantage, the best players on the field, momentum on their side, no momentum on the side for the Steelers. It's going to be another early exit for Mike Tomlin and Pittsburgh. They have not made the divisional round since 2017. They have not won a playoff game since 2016, and that streak, unfortunately for them, will continue as Baltimore wins this game where they could possibly take on the Buffalo Bills. Can they beat the Broncos, the 7 seed and the 2 seed here? The Bills 13-4, the Broncos at 10-7. Kind of like we just did with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. Let's give a lot of credit to Sean Payton and what he did in Denver. Brings in a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix and gets them to the playoffs. Bo Nix playing some great ball. Over 3,700 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. A guy that, was mixed reviews. Would he succeed in the NFL? He was great at Oregon, not so great at Auburn. Would that translate to the NFL? There were many people had doubts. He's played great. I mean, to get them there, the future is very, very bright in Denver. But to ask a rookie quarterback to go into Buffalo, cold, windy, wet, electric, loud, scary Buffalo, and win a playoff game, not just some regular season game, but a playoff game, that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask, and it's simply not going to happen. I remember back in the offseason, I saw all the people that left this Bills team. They lose Stephon Diggs. There's a lot of them on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of big-time contributors on the defensive side of the ball. It almost felt like the Bills were entering a mini rebuild. Still, we're going to be the favorite in the AFC East, but maybe not this good. 13-4, despite all the losses. Josh Allen playing, peak football. Over 3,700 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, has 12 rushing touchdowns as well. This team is firing on all cylinders, and they have just as good a chance as they've ever had to make the Super Bowl this year. The Broncos, if they want to stay in this game, they're going to have to lean on their defense. They have the 7th best defense in the league right now, but their problem is they have a bad secondary. They're 24th in the league in stopping the pass, allowing 242 passing yards per game. I expect Josh Allen, especially with the home crowd on his side, to be able to get this job done, to light up that Denver secondary. And Bo Nix, he's going to make a handful of mistakes against this good of a Buffalo defense and this hostile of an environment. Buffalo wins this game. They'll get to stay at home and take on Baltimore, where the winner could possibly take on the Chiefs. So right now we've got the Chargers taking on the Chiefs, the Ravens taking on the Bills in the divisional round on the AFC side. Going over to the NFC, and that's how the schedule worked out. We got 3 straight AFC games and then 3 straight NFC games to wrap up the opening round of the playoffs. The first NFC game we have is the 2-7 matchup. The Packers traveling to take on the Eagles, champions of the NFC East. So 11-6 Green Bay, 14-3 Eagles. I cannot stress this enough. Do not look at this game and pick it based on this seeding. Don't look at this game and go, the Packers are the 7 seed. They're not going to beat the Eagles. The Packers are 11-6. The Eagles are 3 games better than them at 14-3. They're going to beat the Packers. Don't look at it that way, because this Green Bay team is much better than their seed would tell you. They're much better than their record would tell you. They're 11-6, but 5 of their 6 losses have come by 5 points or less. So not even full touchdowns for Green Bay. 5 losses by 5 points or less. And that includes the season opener against the Eagles in Brazil. They lost 34-29 in that game until the very, very end. So they have shown the ability to hang with Philadelphia. They have shown the ability to hang with some top teams. They played in the toughest division in football this year with the Vikings and the Lions and, maybe the Bears. I don't know. But 34-29 back in week 1. This Green Bay team has all the pieces to make a run. This is a team that probably should have made the NFC Championship last year. They've been able to make some field goals at San Francisco. They beat the 49ers. They go to the NFC Championship at Detroit, and I personally think they would have beat the Lions in that game. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's in the past. But bottom line is, listen, guys, I'm picking Green Bay to win this game. I'm picking Green Bay to go on the road and beat the Eagles. The first really big upset that we're picking in our playoff predictions here. The $1 million thing you've got to do if you're Matt LaFleur and you're Green Bay, you've got to stop Saquon Barkley, right? Over 2,000 rushing yards. If he had played in the season finale, I think he would have broken the all-time rushing record, but they rested him, and for good reason. If you can stop Saquon Barkley, you win this game, and Green Bay can do it. Why? Because they have one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL, allowing just 99.4 rushing yards per game. They're allowing less than 100 less than 100 rushing yards per game. That's it. Jalen Hurts, kind of iffy health-wise. So is Jordan Love a little bit. Both quarterbacks a little bit banged up. Both should be ready to go for this game. Jalen Hurts had 2 interceptions in their first meeting back in Brazil. This Packers defense has shown the capability to shut down high-octane opponents, high-octane offenses. They're not scared of anybody. They're not scared of any environment. You can't place it on the crowd. You can't place it on the weather. My God, they play in Green Bay. The ultimate weather advantage, the ultimate weather place when you're looking at football. They're not scared of that, right? Jordan Love, I believe, can match Jalen Hurts step for step. He averages over 230 passing yards per game, throw for over 3,300 yards and 25 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs has rushed for over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. This is the 5th-ranked rushing offense in the league in Green Bay. No doubt about it. This is going to be a great game. It's going to be a close game, but I like the Packers to get the job done. I don't think that Jalen Hurts is going to be able to deliver in this game. I think the Eagles were fortunate to survive back in week 1, and a lot has changed for both these teams leading up to this point, but I like this Packers team a whole lot. I think their seeding is misleading. I think their record is misleading, and I think they will win this game, and they have a very good opportunity to make a maybe surprising, some would say improbable run to the Super Bowl. Next game, number 6 Commanders at number 3 Bucks, the 6 seed and the 3 seed. This will be a fun way to wrap up Sunday night. Fun Sunday night football game. Also a rematch from the first week of the season. If you go back and look, the Buccaneers won that game 37-20 in Tampa Bay in week 1. It was the first start for Jayden Daniels. Obviously, a lot has changed for both these teams since then as well. Jayden Daniels looks nothing like he did back in week 1. He has been playing outstanding football for a rookie quarterback. Over 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, has also rushed for over 890 yards and 6 touchdowns. So rookie quarterback, new head coach in Dan Quinn, and he has him at 12-5 and back in the playoffs. So Washington football is back. They are here to stay. The future very, very bright for this franchise. But while this game will be significantly closer than the 17-point victory the Bucs had back in week 1, it will still have the same result. The Buccaneers will win this game. Why? Experience. I don't know why people aren't talking enough about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has thrown for over 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns this season, and no one's really talking about it. Maybe it's because of how great Lamar Jackson's been, how great Josh Allen has been. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield should be in the running for MVP by any means, but he's putting up some monster stats this season. Mike Evans just completed his, 11th straight season with 1,000 reception yards, 1,004. Barely got it on that final play against the Saints, but he's playing great ball. So you've got a veteran quarterback in Mayfield who had this team just a couple plays away from the NFC Championship last year before falling in Detroit. You've got a veteran wide receiver in Mike Evans who won a Super Bowl just a few years ago. You've got a rookie running back in Bucky Irving who has over 1,000 rushing yards on the year. Yes, both, you look at this, someone's going to go, oh, well, the Buccaneers secondary, their defense isn't any good. They rank 30th in the league. They're horrible against the pass. True. But the Commanders are one of the worst teams against the run. This could be a game where Irving breaks off a couple big runs in this game, opens up the door for Mayfield to take some shots deep to Evans. It's going to be close, but again, experience counts. Experience matters in the playoffs, and it's going to show a lot in Tampa Bay on Sunday night. Give me the Bucs to win this game. And the Mail Dog question is, who will they play? Who will they play? If we have the Packers beating the Eagles, we know the Packers are playing in Detroit, so it's going to be Packers and Lions, which means the Bucs will await the winner of the Vikings and the Rams. That game now being played in Arizona. Due to the devastating wildfires out in California, specifically around the Los Angeles area. So thoughts and prayers are going out to the city and to the people that are suffering and having to go through everything that's happening out there right now. Just a horrible, horrible thing to see happen, horrible thing to be watching. And we just got hope that can get rectified soon. Hope that the fires can get under control and that we can start to hopefully rebuild out in California, because it's just a devastating thing. And obviously a devastating thing for this Rams team. A devastating thing for these players to see their city going through that right now. So this team loses out on home field advantage, and some would make the joke that they really didn't have home field advantage to begin with because no one really shows up to Rams games, and maybe that's true. They're now playing this game in Arizona at the Cardinal Stadium, and they're facing a good Vikings team. A Vikings team that's 14-3. And it's insane that a 14-3 team is a 5 seed and playing their playoff game on the road. I know that's how the playoffs are structured. That just comes to show how good the NFC North was this year. But this Vikings team's legit. They're the real deal. I know they lost to the Rams early in the year. They lost 30-20. That score is misleading. It was a 21-20 game with under 7 minutes remaining. It was a 28-20 game in the final minute. before the Vikings got a safety. The Rams got a safety on the Vikings on a blatant face mask on Sam Darnold that somehow the officials missed. Probably wouldn't have made a difference. Vikings still probably would have lost, but they still would have loved to have that chance to go tie the game. So they were in that game until the very, very end. The 10-point deficit was very misleading. They're going to win this game. Listen, the Vikings are going to win this game. As long as Sam Darnold comes to play, as long as he doesn't see any ghosts, as long as the Vikings can convert in the red zone, something they really struggled to do against the Lions in their season finale, the game that determined if they'd get the 1 seed or not. If they can do that, and I believe they will, I think that Lions defense was just obviously way too good, they're going to win this game. Another reason why they're going to win is because the Rams offense has been struggling. I don't care that they dropped 40-something points on Buffalo about a month ago, all right? Good for them. What happened after that? They went into a major slump. If you take away their final week of the regular season, a game where they rested all their starters, the majority of them at least, the Rams failed to eclipse 21 points in 6 of their final 9 games, or 6 of their final 8 if you exclude the finale. They only had 12 points against the 49ers, 19 versus the Jets, 13 versus the Cardinals. None of those teams really world beaters this year. The Vikings have a pretty dang good defense. They've got all the pieces to make a Super Bowl run this year. Yes, the secondary certainly has to play better, and yes, I think they've got the quarterback edge in Matthew Stafford. They certainly do from an experience edge, a guy that just won a Super Bowl a few years ago. But the Vikings are a dang good football team. They've been able to hang with some of the best teams in the league this year. They were one game away from winning the toughest division in all of football this year. They're going to be a Rams team that I simply don't think has all the pieces put together to make a Super Bowl run, to pull off this upset again. The Vikings shut down Kyren Williams with that strong rushing defense. They forced Matthew Stafford to win this game solely through the air. Vikings forced at least one turnover off of him. They actually convert on it this time. They win this game, meaning on the NFC side, we've got the Packers at the Lions, the Vikings at the Bucks. We'll see if this all holds true. We'll come back with our divisional round picks next week. Maybe these are the exact matchups that we predicted. Maybe they're a little off. But regardless, we will be here with whatever they are, those predictions and analysis for all those games. But one thing is for sure, they call it a super wild card weekend for a reason. 6 games spread across 3 days. Stakes couldn't be higher. Forget what happened in week 1. Forget what happened in week 5. Forget what happened in the regular season finale. It doesn't matter now. The one goal is the Super Bowl. 14 teams hunting for it, fighting for it. It all starts this Saturday. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at The Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, and our holiday special if you want the spread picks for all of these playoff games, not just in the wild card round, but all the way through the Super Bowl. You need to go over to thegridironexpert.com right now. Go check it out and become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.